Hello, fellas. Welcome back to Fallacious Truth. I've got a real doozy here today. I was even a little taken back from it to the point where I didn't know if I could get slapped on YouTube for even commenting on this. You'll see here about it in a minute. In any case, I'm going to take a chance and we're going to take a look at this here.
I think that men should be able to make fun of women without being called misogynists. But I also think that women should be able to kill men without being called murderers. So I don't know.
Yeah, did you catch all that? Let's take a listen to that one more time here.
I think that men should be able to make fun of women without being called misogynists. But I also think that women should be able to kill men without being called murderers. So I don't know.
What? What the f***?
She says this. I think that men should be able to make fun of women without being called misogynist. And also, I think that women should be able to kill men without being called murderers. So, I don't know. This is also coming from a self-proclaimed hot feminist. I really couldn't resist here. Here's some pictures from some of the other videos that she's got here. That was priceless. Alright, let's continue on here. Now, can any of you imagine if this was flipped around and said about women? Can you imagine if a man came on any public platform and said, I think women should be able to make fun of men without being called misandrist, and I also think that men should be able to kill women without being called murderers, so I don't know. I would venture a guess that you would have police at your door if a man said anything even remotely close to this. Why is this? Why do women say stuff like this? Or why can women say stuff like this? It's because they know they can get away with it. They know they can get other women to sound off in their own echo chamber with them. Is it because she's so entitled, narcissistic, and self-absorbed that she thinks she can say whatever she wants without fear of reprisal and condemnation? Yes. Yeah, to all three of those answers. No man in his right mind would ever say that about a woman. And the kicker to this is her sentiments are echoed so much in the comments as well. Take a look at this. We have several calling it a fair trade, a few claiming that it's equality. Another woman says, here, I'll take the deal. Sounds fair. You have another woman that says, appalled at first, then nodding and clapping in agreement at the end. Fair is fair. And you have a few more that says seems fair, equality, so on and so forth. Then you have one woman here that says, I only agree with the second half of your statement. Sorry. So you get the idea. So I thought to myself, this doesn't make any sense. There is no equivalency here. So I started reading more and found out where their heads are at, with certain other statements that echo this. Men are allowed to make fun of women. The butt of the joke just can't be, haha, you're worth less than me because you're a woman. So, do we men make fun of women? Well, I'm sure there's those who do, but channels like this aren't there to make fun of women. That's simply a perspective because we say things that go against the norm. We say things that go against the societal standards of women can do no wrong. So, in actuality, it's nothing more than an emotional response to someone telling them that a certain behavior is undesirable, or something that's being done is wrong, or if you tweak something here, you might have a more favorable outcome. There's no criticism of the modern woman, constructive or otherwise, but there is blatant and willful hatred towards men, the actual definition of the word misandry. And society doesn't bat an eye in the slightest. Tell me in the comments why you think that has been normalized. Why do you think that it's okay for women to advocate publicly the killing of men, joking or not? And if we men were to say the same thing back, we would take the most severe of consequences, either on a social platform or perhaps even legal troubles. Society is doing its absolute best to shut men up. It's doing its best to make sure the silence of men is so absolute that a male opinion is met with instant hostility, to the point where it's not even worth giving an opinion anymore as a man, and quite frankly, who can blame us? Who wants to deal with it? You see, when we say something, we have to think of a cost-benefit ratio. We have a filter that we put everything through that sends up red flags if it's going to make waves or not, if it's going to be looked down upon for simply it being said, etc. Everything nowadays goes through the court of public social media opinion. Let me say that again. Everything nowadays gets put through the scrutiny of the court of social media public opinion. And there's nothing we can do about these tech giants who own these platforms that greenlight comments like this that are made from women, but then again blacklist the negatives calling out women. We see this all the time. Everything is also seen through the lens of a social credit score nowadays. It literally virtually controls your life, and it ends up influencing and eventually controlling your physical life as well. And once again, there isn't much of anything that you can do about it. It's a form of conditioning. It's a form of social control. You don't want to be labeled as X, so you must not do Y and Z. And if you become labeled as X, you lose the ability to function in both the physical and digital world. 20 years ago, no one could have imagined what social media has ballooned up into. I mean, we had MySpace, and that's about it. And at the time, it was the cool new thing with customized pages. You got the ability to put music on your web page, etc., etc. But it wasn't a tool to assert ideologies, political or otherwise. It wasn't a function to take control like modern social media is like today. Today, in the year 2022, your life online and how you're perceived there is far more important than how you're looked upon in real life. Anyhow, I kind of got off topic a little, but the point is, this would never be accepted if the genders were reversed. And it's just one of many legal privileges that you as ladies have that we do not. Men could never get away with saying this. Men could never get away with saying they believe that killing a woman is an acceptable thing, joking or otherwise. You have the liberty to say almost whatever you want online and in real life without the fear of negative consequences. Society has made you so entitled and so narcissistic that anything you do will be echoed by other women, somewhere at some time. It can be the most heinous of desires, yet still deemed acceptable by society simply because it comes from a female. Alright, I was able to finish part 1, the overview, and I'll put the link here in the, not only the description, but I'll put it in the video here, I guess, with regards to how to mitigate the losses to yourself during a divorce. And once again, these losses can be physical, they can be financial, the loss of your child. This series is really how to prevent and mitigate that as much as humanly possible. Now, we all know there's only so much a guy can do in a situation like this, so I sincerely hope that this will help men in this predicament out there. Well, the first video is about the overview. The second video that we're going to be looking at here is on self-preservation. We're going to be talking about how to keep yourself, your possessions, your assets, and most importantly, if you have children, we're going to discuss how you as a man can make sure you are still a very significant part in your child's life. The importance of the father cannot be overestimated. I've said this time and time again. Your importance cannot be overestimated. There's really no way to measure it. You as a father have the most important role in your child's life, especially once they reach the toddler stage and beyond. You must fight with everything at your disposal to ensure this. Every other weekends is not acceptable. We're going to discuss the tools that you need, both mental and physical. We're going to discuss what you should do inside of your home and what you should do outside of your home when you're with your soon-to-be ex and when you're not with your soon-to-be ex. You must make sure that you are fit for war first and foremost, before you can even begin protecting anything else. I simply can't stress this enough. If you aren't ready, she and her lawyer will fold you like a paper airplane. One quick note though, I've been asked before why I call it a war. The best way to answer that is by saying, if you don't go into this with the intention of winning, if you don't go into this knowing that there's going to be a fight and you are willing to do whatever it takes to win, then she, and like I said, her lawyer, they will stomp right all over you. And it'll be really easy for them to do it as well. A lot of times in divorce, us men, we often give in. We often compromise, so on and so forth, simply because we want it to be done. We want it to be over with because it will be one of the most stressful times in your life. Alright, that about wraps things up. Thank you for joining me for today's video of the Fallacious Truth. Hopefully I'll have another video out within the next couple of days for you. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm still only getting a few views, so if any of you out there know how to increase that, please let me know. Thank you and take care.